Okay, so Chad and Michelle, I just got message that Chad and Michelle broke up. I've been trying to do some research online about why exactly they broke up, but I'm hearing a lot of different theories. But I wanted to play this for you all. Let's do that, and then we're going to talk about it after.
Something I need from her is to not, every time we hit a bump in the road, to say, I'm out. I mean, she's still got her ring on. I won't let her take it off as many times as she's tried to break off the engagement.
How many times has the ring come off?
Dr. Tamer, whose side are you on?
I just need to know. I just need to know. It's for informational purposes.
There's a moment or moments where I've taken off my ring, not because I didn't want to be with Chad, not because I don't want to get married, but I feel like, am I really good enough? I'm looking at this ring, and am I really worthy enough to wear it? I don't know.
She just asked how many times.
Oh, 3 times.
3 times.
It's definitely been more than 3.
We had a wedding date set, but the last time she took off the ring, we both let the wedding planner know that we needed to postpone the wedding. We're still engaged, we just don't have a date right now.
Okay. Getting messages that they broke up. And I'm like, you know what? In listening to this piece, one of the parts that I wanted you to really kind of take away from this is that she talked about not feeling as if she was worthy of the ring, not feeling as if she deserved it, etc. And we know that she suffers from depression, right? So one of the things that just really kind of just stood out to me was that whole thing. And I'm like, well, you know, I don't know. So I would love for us to talk inside of the comments because I really want to flesh it out. I want to hear what you've heard. I need to binge watch the episodes and just do one of the things that I personally think is, I think that this is my own personal thing. I don't have any proof of this, but I think that public opinion kind of got in the way. People who were talking about how she's selling out for being with a quote unquote white man. And I'm telling you, even though I saw his father and they're part of the family, we've never seen the mother. And we don't know exactly what the mother was doing exactly, because I'm telling you, that man has some black in him. He really does. So I wouldn't be surprised if the mother had herself a little affair, you know, and came, or if there's some black that just happened to, because, you know, when it goes far enough back, because black is dominant, whether or not it skipped the generation, because we haven't seen the grandmother either, because the grandmother could be multi-ethnic, I don't know. And that the black showed up in him, but that man has some black in him. But there's so many thoughts swimming through my mind. So one of the things that I'm thinking is, okay, so the public kind of had their own opinions, hating on this woman for being with a white man, or a man who's quote unquote white or was raised white, whatnot, and calling her a sellout, and, you know, just talking their talk about the relationship and really kind of getting under her skin. Some people say that you should never do reality TV with your partner, because that's like, they say that it's a curse on your relationship. And so I can see how in that relationship, probably coming out to the public didn't do their relationship no good, especially showing the truth of it and being in pre-therapy. And I saw one video where they showed the video where the guy where Chad was driving, he was like, I don't know if we're supposed to get married. That's another thing that kind of stuck out to me. Because remember, Chad had bought I believe he bought his wedding ring many years ago. I think, I'm not sure. But I think that he had been planning his wedding from when he was a child. So it's kind of like with the woman who's like, oh, I want to get married, and all she has to do is just pick up a little husband Ken and just put him in the place. There was a part of me that always wondered whether or not Chad was kind of like just looking for the wife figure to supplant into his fantasy of marriage. So that's one thing that was just kind of sticking out to me. And I was like, is that it? And then number 3, the third thing that stuck out to me is, okay, well, she has a history of breaking off the engagement. And if I was her, listen, you know what? Listen, this is so crazy, because you know what? This was the wrong time for her to break off this relationship, because you know how women are when we're like, because they put this guy out, like, this guy looks really good. to the public, except for the stuff that, like, I need to finish watching the episode, because, like, remember he said that stuff about her mental health, but I was like, you know what, listen, we have to teach people how, like, nobody is perfect. We have to teach people how we need to be spoken to, and if they don't behave right, then we're ghost. But that stuff that he said, so but other than that, I haven't watched the rest of the episodes, but he looks really good to the public, and I'm like, like, every woman wants a sensitive man who's marriage minded and family oriented. So it's like, oh, is another woman gonna come and snatch him up now? Because I don't know. You know what? I want them both to be happy. I hope that this is not a stunt, because on the day that they announced the breakup, she also announced her album. So I don't know. They're getting us invested in this relationship only for it to just, I don't know. So I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts below, because I have so many flying through my mind. So I'm going to binge watch the show, and then I'm going to actually, I'm going to sit down today. I'm going to binge watch the show, and then I'm going to publish my feedback on each episode, because I want to see what happened. I want to know what went down. But then also the show is not staggered, but the show was filmed before. So whatever is happening now to make them break up is something that happened after the last episode, unless, like I said, they're responding to public opinion. But I'm like, listen, don't let people get in the way of your joy and your blessing. If you find somebody who loves you for you and wants to grow and work through this process called life, and be there and show up in that relationship with you and work through, because, like, a relationship is a verb. It's alive. It's something that is ongoing, and it takes you showing up and your partner showing up and you two continuing to choose one another. So it's like, regardless of race, listen, because that man is fine. He is fine. I'm like, somebody's gonna snatch him up. But if they're not a good match for one another, that's cool. Go and find somebody who's a better match. But please don't let the public get in the way of your happiness, because they're trying to demand what type of man you should or should not be with. Like, people tried that with Serena Williams, and she did not care. She found her happiness where she found her happiness. Why do people have to hate on a black woman finding her happiness where she finds it? It's like remember how I did those videos talking about date multi-ethnically. If you want a black man, date other ethnicities of black men. And there were black women who came out who were like, how dare you hate on the black, this, that. Listen, if you want to stay in a situation with a group of people who are categorically and statistically less likely to marry than you are, do you, boo. Do you. Just go ahead, do that. However, I want black women to begin to go where we are celebrated, not just merely tolerated. Because there's some people who do want to see you miserable. And like Einstein says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So you could stay there in defunct situations if you want to, or you can start branching out and being with people who are going to love you and go through the canals of this thing called life, because life is not easy. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I want to hear your thoughts below. I'm going to go binge this show right now, and I'm going to do my recaps. Now, my recaps, my response to each episode, because I want to see what happened, what went wrong. Oh, Lord. Listen, on that note, I am out. I'll talk with you in the comments below. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Peace. Go out there and love one another. But most importantly, what? Love yourself. Love yourself. That's right.